Time to make mini banana cream pies with homemade caramel sauce, which is Ian's favorite. But it's not an actual pie, they're free form and served in little mason jars, which is just really easy and pretty cute. And it all starts with a good banana flavored custard. And like any good custard, you need some yolks to help thicken it up and enrich the flavor. So here I have 6 large egg yolks. To this we're gonna add half a cup of sugar. That's half a cup plus 2 tablespoons. I know, it's one of those annoying measurements that you sometimes see in recipes, but this recipe was tested a lot, so I know that it's accurate. All right, we're gonna whisk this together. Also gonna add a little bit of salt, 1/4 teaspoon salt, and a little bit of cornstarch. The cornstarch helps the custard thicken, and it's kind of an insurance to help the custard thicken without having the eggs break, which is a classic custard problem. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Into the egg yolks it goes. You really wanna whisk it in till it's nice and evenly combined. All right, time to add the liquid and the banana flavor. I'm gonna set a strainer over this bowl, and over here in the saucepan, I have magic that's been sitting off heat. In here are 2 bananas. I sauteed a little bit. Then I added 2½ cups of half and half pinch of cinnamon. And I just let it sit off heat for 40 minutes after it came to a simmer. It's infusing the half and half with all that flavor. But now we're gonna strain those bananas out because they would make the custard taste a little pasty. So, right into the egg yolks. You can see there are those bananas. I'll strain them out. They've done their business. We'll add some more fresh bananas at the end for garnish. We'll set this aside. Back here, we're just gonna whisk this in. And because that's been sitting off the heat for 40 minutes, it's warm, but there's no danger of having it cook the egg yolks. Whisk this all together. Oh, you can smell the banana. All right, so now we're gonna cook this mixture in a clean saucepan till it thickens up. Should register about 180, but more importantly, it looks like pudding, and you wanna cook it over medium heat. So, clean saucepan, in goes our half and half and yolk mixture. So now I'm just gonna cook this over medium heat. It takes about 5 minutes to get to that pudding-like consistency. All right, now the trick is you wanna whisk this mixture for the entire cooking time, again, only about 5 minutes, so you get a nice even consistency in the finished pudding. All right, time to turn the heat off. You can see that thickened up nicely to a pudding-like consistency. Again, about 180 degrees if you're using a thermometer. Now, right while it's warm, we're gonna add about a teaspoon of vanilla. Gonna add it right to the pot. And 3 tablespoons of butter, right off the butter dish. Now you wanna whisk that in until the butter's all nicely melted. Doesn't take too long. All right, that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna strain it again into a nice clean bowl. This will help get rid of any of the cooked egg bits that solidified in the bottom of the corners of the pan, so you have a nice smooth custard. There we go. Oh, it smells good. Now, obviously this custard needs to chill before we can make our pies. And to do that, we're gonna put it in the fridge, obviously, but I'm gonna cover the top with a little piece of parchment. You can see I've cut it down to size, and I've actually greased it with some spray. That just helps prevent any skin from forming on top of the pudding as it cools. All right, into the fridge it goes with the lid on. I leave the lid popped to help it cool off as it sits in the fridge, at least an hour, but really I think it's better if it's left in there for a few hours so it's good and chilled. If you're looking for even more culinary inspiration, check out the complete Cook's Country TV show cookbook. More than 600 recipes from every season are condensed into this book. It's jam-packed with every recipe we've featured on the show, plus helpful guides, tips, and product reviews. To order your copy, visit cookscountry.com. Now to make the caramel sauce. In a saucepan, you want to combine these 3 ingredients. Sugar, what's 1 3/4 cups of sugar, half a cup of water, and a 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. And that corn syrup is really just insurance to help that your caramel doesn't seize up. It's like making it foolproof. Now you want to bring this to a simmer over medium-high heat. And you want it to bubble away about 8 minutes or so until you see it's turned straw colored right around the outside. When you see it start to color, turn the heat right down. In only a few more minutes, you'll have a nice dark caramel. If you want to measure it, it should be about 360 degrees, but let your nose and your eyes be the judge here. It should smell like caramel and it should look like caramel. Then you want to take it off the heat, You want to very carefully whisk in 1 cup of cream. It's going to bubble all over the place. Don't worry, you just let that cream help cool down the caramel, whisk it in, and you want to add a little vanilla, about a teaspoon, and a little salt, about 1/4 teaspoon. You just whisk it till it's smooth and then just let that pot sit there until the caramel is cooled off. Once everything's been whisked in, just let that caramel sauce sit and cool off a bit. Time to put the pies together in these cute little jars. Now you can use a jar of many different sizes to make these, as big or as small as you want. If you're serving a big crowd, you can get little jars and you can serve a ton of people, or if you're home, you can use a bigger jar and just make a big one for yourself, which is also why I love this recipe, because you can make them to order, and that custard, you know, it lasts for a few days, and you can just make them for an after-school snack or after-dinner fun. All right, so now to assemble a pie in a jar, first, we're going to slice some bananas, just for garnish, for a little bit of fresh banana flavor. All right, and for the crust, we're going to use graham crackers. I'm not going to make a crust. I'm just going to crush the graham crackers into the bottom of the jar. If you're making a big bunch of these, you can crumble these into, oh, hey, buds. Graham crackers is what he loves. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, so you have a nice layer of graham crackers on the bottom. Now let's get that custard. All right, let's peel back this parchment paper. Oh, it smells so good. Now we're just gonna put a little banana custard on top of the graham crackers. Maybe just a little bit more. I like how it sogs out the grahams on the bottom. Next up, the caramel sauce here. Just gonna drizzle it over the top of the pudding. And again, if this caramel sauce had been refrigerated, or if you bought store-bought caramel sauce, also tastes good here. Not quite as good as homemade, but it's a passable substitute. You just want to heat it up in the microwave, make sure it's fluid again. All right, now top it with a little whipped cream. Now I gotta say, this whipped cream, I don't put any sugar or any flavor in it because there's so much sweetness going on with the caramel sauce and the banana custard that I like the whipped cream on top to not have any sweetness in it. Do some bananas. I like leaving a little bit of crumbs to put on the top. If you want, you can drizzle more caramel all over the top, but I always make a mess and then my shirt gets a ton of it, so I tend to not put caramel on the top just for the sake of laundry. And there you have it, an easy after school, after dinner banana caramel cream pie. Oh, going right to the bottom. Oh, those crumbs on the bottom, they get a little soggy. So good. You taste the banana, that homemade caramel is so good. Then the graham crackers makes it taste like pie. I love having this banana custard just on hand so you can make these up on a whim. See you next time. Thanks for watching. What'd you think? Leave a comment below and let me know what you're excited to cook this week. You can get today's recipes and more for free at our website.